It doesn't add up yet for me. I don't think the Chargers are ready for a massive late season push to the postseason. You know, one of those 5-game winning streaks that we've seen Chargers teams in the past put together. I think Sunday the Bolts are in trouble in Las Vegas, and we're going to get to why. Hi, I'm James the Faithful Angelino Sports with your weekly Chargers preview. The 6-5 Bolts versus the 4-7 Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And if you enjoy talking about the Chargers, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We talk about the Chargers pretty much every single day here. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm thinking to myself that there's a massive run to be made here. Most of the teams the Chargers were going to face, they had sub-500 records, and we're not talking about trying to catch the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about getting into the playoffs, where at least you're still alive and can continue that run. I saw the pathway then, and I still see that pathway now. But then I pull the lens back. I see a Raiders team that might not be a bunch of world beaters, might not qualify for the playoffs. They've got a long way to go for that. But I see a team that's starting to figure things out. I see a team with an actual identity, a sense of buying into whatever's being sold. And if there's one thing we know about the silver and black, they are very big on selling catchphrases. Here's what their identity is becoming. Running the football effectively with Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, now leads the NFL in rushing, until the defense puts another man in the box, and then all of a sudden, pop a deep pass to Davante Adams. Now, it took a while for Josh McDaniels, I think, to figure this out. I mean, the Raiders had the option to extend Jacobs' contract before the season started. And for God knows whatever the reason is, they chose not to. And Jacobs, now again leading the league with 1,159 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns with a massive chunk of the season to go. He gashed Seattle for 229 yards last week. And oh, by the way, now he gets to face the league's worst rushing defense. If the Chargers still had, say, Joey Bosa, I would be a lot more sanguine about their chances on defense, particularly on passing downs. For Pete's sake, I thought the Chargers would absolutely destroy Arizona, and the Cardinals still rushed for more than 5 yards a carry. What is Jacobs going to do? Now, I do get that this is a quarterback-driven league, and only a hardcore Raiders partisan would try to tell you that Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. I totally get that. But Carr is an elder statesman on that team. Derek Carr has gone through 4 head coaches, 2 interim coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, multiple team rebuilds where the Raiders were literally ripped down to the studs and rebuilt. He never bitched about it. He's never complained, never heard him say a cross word until a couple of weeks ago when he questioned the team's desire. And all of a sudden, the Raiders win their last 2 games in overtime. Now, I believe Herbert is going to have better numbers than Carr. I don't doubt that. I also know that Keenan Allen has promised to kill the Raiders secondary Sunday because the Raiders are always playing man-to-man, and I don't doubt that either. Herbert has good numbers. He had 19 touchdowns, 7 picks. He led the team to a last-second victory in Arizona, but Arizona stinks. So why was it a last-second win for the Chargers? It shouldn't be this way. Doesn't this seem to you like the same inconsistent Chargers play that we've seen all year long? Because it does to me. And then you go and you look at an offensive line that's missing center Corey Linsley, right tackle Trey Pipkins. You look at a receiving core that's still missing Mike Williams. To me, I'm not saying the Chargers can't win, but for them to win this game, they have to build such a massive early lead that the Raiders have to abandon the running game. LA did that in week 1. Do you remember that game? Because I do. And even though they built that lead, the Raiders still almost climbed to take the game away. The Chargers wound up getting the last laugh, 24-19. And what's happened since then? Have multiple Chargers gone down for lengthy times with injury? And have the Raiders now started to figure things out and rebuild? Oh, by the way, the Chargers are also playing their 2nd consecutive road game. And if there's one thing that's true in the NFL, when you play back-to-back games on the road, Winning that second game, extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Had the Chargers beaten the living hell out of Arizona last weekend, I would absolutely be taking them tomorrow because I would say, yep, there's that run I'm telling you about. But they barely won. They barely won. They don't have my trust yet. So I'm taking the Raiders. It's just like that. Chargers win, I can see it. But right now, I'm taking the Raiders. Now, let me know what you think about this in the comments thread. I'm perfectly willing to hear you guys out. And if you enjoy talking about Chargers football, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We talk about the Bolts virtually every day on Faithful Angelenos. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.